All right, so we're live, Sam, with Sorcery's newest artist. I guess we could call you the latest and newest artist for Sorcery Contested Realm, Sam McKinnon.
Hey, Mike.
So we've It's great. I appreciate you coming on. It's been exciting spoiler season. We've discovered. I think you're, if I'm remembering correctly, this would be the fourth new artist for Arthurian Legends, and
Oh, cool.
we've only seen about a few dozen cards. The company was just at Gen Con, so we saw a bunch of cards there, and one of the new artists was kind of incidentally revealed through that. And then through spoiler season, we got a couple more artists, and now this is the final reveal for spoiler season, and you are the newest artist, and we're going to see the last card, and then we're about a month away from the big Arthurian Legends reveal. So
Awesome.
yeah, I appreciate your time. I know we talked a little bit,
Yeah.
but people, of course, kind of, I think, will recognize your name and say, like, who is this Sam
Yeah.
McKinnon? But I wanted to start with tell us a little bit about who you are and kind of let's start with how you were discovered for the game first, and then we'll talk
Yeah.
about your background in
So,
art.
sounds great. Well, my name is Sam, and how I was discovered for the game is basically, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this will know my brother Seb, who's done some really awesome work for Magic the Gathering.
Hmm.
And Eric actually reached out to him to do some artwork for the game. And then Seb basically told me, "Hey, look, like Eric is looking for other arts and stuff. So you should probably send over your portfolio, and if he likes what he sees, he might actually give you a commission." So I did, and
Great.
I wasn't really expecting much, to be honest. But I was really surprised when he got back saying, like that he thought that my style could complement the next set pretty well.
Hmm.
So we did a test run, and I did my first piece for the game, and he liked it, and then commissioned me for three other
Yeah,
paintings. So yeah, so it was really like
cool.
a dream come true for me to do like artwork for a card game. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see like the card, and like yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and we're gonna get into that for sure. So I guess I should have also caveated that this is what we're doing here is a larger interview segment. I'm gonna cut up pieces of it for the spoiler reveal, but then soon after I'll publish the full length video so people can learn more about your background. And we're also working on a written Q&A for the collectorarthouse.com website.
Awesome.
So thank you for that intro. I think you're probably just kind of getting your feet wet. And what is this sorcery game? I
Yeah,
think it's
definitely.
like
Yeah.
it's a massive, massive art project for one, with the curation of so many different artists with a breadth of different styles. But also the game is it's a really great game gameplay wise too. That
Hmm.
it's different from Magic. I know you have some background in playing Magic and
Yeah.
through your family and whatnot. It's grid based, but it does draw a lot of inspiration from early Magic and the fantasy art
Cool.
of the 90s. And looking at your style and some of your portfolio on Instagram, I think it is like super fitting for this game. It's
Oh,
it's
thanks a lot.
really exciting.
That
So
means a lot. Thanks.
yeah, so is this and so I've done some research on your background. I know you're one of five brothers, is it? You have four
Yeah,
brothers,
exactly.
so
So
big
we come
family.
from a pretty big family, and yeah, my mom actually taught us all how to draw like from a pretty young
Uh,
age.
okay.
So it's really thanks to her that we all got into art, and yeah.
Hmm.
So
Is she a
and
professional artist as well?
she was a graphic design teacher in
Okay.
university, and yeah,
Hmm.
so that's how she got into art. Yeah,
Okay. And
yeah,
you're from we were talking earlier, you're from Canada. So I think
yeah.
you're our actually, yeah, so I
I'm
think you're
yeah.
technically our second Canadian artist. I know Dan Seagrave also did paintings for the game and lives in Canada, but I think he's
Oh,
really
cool.
from the UK if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, I
So
was
yeah.
listening with your last interview with Heidi, I think her name is,
Yes. Yeah.
and she's from Montreal, and I'm actually from the same place. So,
Really?
yeah,
Wow. Okay. Small world. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Um all right, great. So let me ask you, like, when did you first commission for sorcery? How far back was that?
It was last summer. So I was in contact with Eric, I think in August, and I did
Okay.
my first painting from there, and then basically from August around like November, I did the four paintings basically, yeah, that I was commissioned for.
Okay. So we got four
Yeah.
to look forward to, and that's typical. You mentioned you did the one, and then he asked for more. That seems to be the
Yeah.
cadence he
Yeah.
does with the artists. Like he,
Yeah.
with all every artist had a similar story where they had like one or two at first, and then he kept coming back for more and more.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign. Hopefully, we'll
Yeah.
see a lot of work from you in the
Yeah.
future.
Hopefully.
And like so, the alpha set was huge. It was over 400 cards,
Mm.
a little over 400, about 403. And now the Arthurian set says on the box it says over 220, or it says 220 unique new cards,
Wow. That's amazing.
artworks and things. So I think the company's also made statements of over 250. So we're speculating on, are there secret surprises in there like there was in alpha.
Nice.
But yeah, so it's a smaller set, but it's still a lot. There's a lot of artists. So yeah, and it's the Arthurian theme. I think when I was looking into your background, you talked a lot about how you're into like nature and mythology.
Yeah.
So were you familiar with Arthurian lore, or did you have to kind of research some of the
Yeah,
concepts?
like I did actually. Like I know a bit of the stories of like some of the knights and stuff. And growing up, like I'm not sure if you know like Monty Python and the Search for the
Yeah,
Holy Grail. Yeah, so
yeah, for
we
sure.
have that film. And yeah,
Okay,
we like we've always been into like knights. And like the Lord of the Rings for me and my brothers is probably still our number one film. Um,
yeah,
so we really just like all of that stuff, you know. Yeah.
okay. That's cool. Yeah, that's a big inspiration for a lot of fantasy artists. Would you
Hmm.
consider yourself a fantasy artist, or
Yeah,
what
I
genre?
would say like fantasy slash like landscape art, things to do with
Okay.
more of the natural world, you know.
Okay. Beautiful. Yeah, so I guess with that, let's show your card. So we're gonna have a first reveal of let's go with the card first, and we'll talk a bit about the painting. So the
Exciting.
Sherwood Huntress, and the interesting thing. Oh, let me show it on the screen. You're not seeing it, are you?
No, not yet.
All right, let me pull up the screen. The Sherwood Huntress. All right, so
Wow,
the interesting thing, and this is
that's
your
cool.
first time seeing it, right? So we're
Yeah,
discovering it
wow.
together.
Yeah. Oh,
Awesome.
that's cool.
And it's, I think you mentioned this is your first time doing a TCG. So how was it trying to
Yeah.
figure out like where the text box lies and how to
Yeah,
work
that was a
around?
bit tricky actually. Like usually I like to paint a lot of detail, like especially in like the foreground and stuff. So I had to make
Okay.
sure that it fit well. And like that the archer didn't take up too much space.
Hmm.
And yeah, so that was like the trickiest part. But once I like basically how I work is the sketch I actually do on my tablet in Photoshop, and
Okay.
I just try to get like the basic composition down and the general sense of the color palette and all that. And then I
Hmm.
send that to Eric, and then if he approves it, then I go to paint it on a canvas. So yeah,
Okay.
so what I usually do is I actually have a layer with just like a box that's about the same size, just to make sure that everything fits into place. So yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So let's cover like a few details of the card, and you being new to the game, I'll kind of explain a little bit. So the Sherwood
Cool.
Huntress, is that how it was commissioned, by the way? Was that the title of it when Eric asked
Yeah,
for it?
that was the title, and I
Okay.
didn't get much info. Like to be honest, like it was about like a one line like description. It was basically saying like
Yep.
it's a poacher in a windswept clearing in a forest. And
Mm.
Eric sent me like a reference picture that kind of resembles a bit of the background where there's like the pine trees with the fog.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that inspired me a bit, and gave me like kind of like the feeling of what the painting could look like. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So the this is an ordinary. It says so. A few details here. The you have the title up top, and then they call it
Okay.
type line text at the top of the card. An ordinary mortal who lives off of the land. So the card rarity and sorcery is in that type line text description. So ordinary is basically like a common, the most common. Goes ordinary, exceptional, elite, and unique.
Oh,
So this
cool.
is and it's kind of interesting in sorcery. You could only play one copy of the uniques, two elites, three exceptionals, or four ordinaries. So even though
Okay,
this is
cool.
the basic rarity level, you can play
Yeah,
four copies of this in your deck.
nice,
So oftentimes those ordinary cards see a lot of play. The
nice.
casting, it's kind of one of those cards that has a modest casting cost of two and one threshold, they call it, with that triangle symbol at the top. and then the
Nice.
2 power level, and it has a ranged attack. So that's kind of
Okay.
thematically fitting with the different sorcery revolves around the different element types. So you have
Yeah.
air, earth, and fire, and what am I
Very
missing?
cool.
Water. Water is the fourth. So this is
So how would ranged work? Like, what does that mean in terms of like the card mechanic?
yeah. So that has to do with like the spatial aspect of the grid. It can
Okay.
there's
Yeah.
like
Cool.
yeah, some minions can only attack its neighboring sites. If it has a ranged element, it has broader range attack. So that is
Nice.
a bonus for like a air based card like this. And then the flavor text. Were you aware of this flavor text at all, or is that like a first scene for you
Uh,
as well at the bottom
yeah,
under
I'm
where it
not
says
fully
ranged?
aware of it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is this and that's typical. I mean, typically you'll get the title and then the
Okay.
general description and you have the creative freedom to come up with your concept. And then as they're developing the card, sometimes they'll add a flavor text. So
Nice.
this looks like it's a passage from the Queen's Men. It says, "They passed into eclipse, her kiss upon their lips, even oh man, I'm going to butcher this. Belphoebe's uh whom they gave their lives for." And it's really cool. So it's art copyright Sam McKinnon, and then this
Wow.
is the set symbol. So this is kind of new as well. Like in alpha, it said art, and then it had an alpha symbol and then the
Yeah.
artist name. So the whole idea of a set symbol is also new for Arthurian Legends.
Wow.
So that's a cool new design. And there it is, man. Your very first card, first of four. Um,
Yeah, that's amazing. Honestly, like
yeah,
it's a dream come true just to see like my name on there too, like that. It's just it's really something for me. So yeah, thanks
yeah.
for yeah, it's a very special time. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming on to reveal your own card is like really awesome, especially you
Cool.
being new to the game. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
first experience for you and for the your new fans. So here's the full art. I'll show it digitally on the screen, and then I know you got it behind you. So
Yeah, I
why
have it
don't
here.
we I'm gonna pull it down for a moment, and you can show the real deal, and then I'll pull it back up, and we can talk a little bit more about the art concept like you were
All right,
doing.
cool. I'll probably have to take off these, so I'll just take it down and show it to the viewers, and I'll
Okay.
come back.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Wow, there it is. The Sherwood Huntress. Man, it looks like a large piece. We're gonna have to ask him the size of this one. Beautiful landscape.
All right, so that was it.
Yeah, beautiful. It looks like what is the approximate size? Do you remember off the cuff?
I think it's either 16 by 20 or 18 by no, sorry, 16 by 24 or 18 by 24. I forget. Yeah,
Okay,
that's around there.
that's yeah, that's pretty large. I mean,
Yeah,
like in the early days of Magic, people would paint pretty small. It's kind of in Sorcery, it's really interesting because there's a very broad range.
yeah,
Some still do like I think the smallest I've seen is maybe roughly 8 by 10, but there's
yeah.
one artist in the Philippines, Gadu Duaso, that does paintings that are 3 feet wide by 4 feet tall. They're
Oh
massive
wow,
canvases.
that's
Um,
epic. Wow,
and that's like
no,
an
that's cool.
outlier, but like a
Yeah,
lot are doing, 12 by 18, 16 by
okay.
20, like you said. So
Yeah, I
you're
think
right in
when
the
I
sweet spot
first
there.
spoke with Eric, he was saying that like generally a lot of people do like 8 by 10, 8 by 12, and some
Hmm.
people go like to like 16 by 24 or 18 by 24. And
Yep.
so I didn't need to necessarily go that big. I just felt like I would like to, and it was
Okay.
quite fun, yeah, to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a beautiful piece, and I loved your description. So you have like the nature element. Do you typically have? Do you do a lot of like landscape, nature type art, or also
Yeah,
do
I
character
do.
figures? Okay.
Uh, I do like a lot of landscape art actually, and yeah, like I when I painted this was actually in October, and in Montreal,
Hmm.
like the trees, with the leaves, it's super nice, and I wanted to bring a bit of that vibe to the painting, and I thought that like since I knew that the card was actually wind aligned, so I was trying to
Okay.
find ways to make certain pieces in the painting like reflect that. So that's why you
Yep.
have like a bit in the background, like the red leaves that are kind of like
Hmm.
following the archer with their hair and the cloak, um, and the arrow as well. Like I wanted it to be pretty uh, like apparent, but not too much as well, because I kind of wanted to give like the feeling that the archer is very like silent.
Hmm.
And so that was basically like the general concept behind it.
Okay. Yeah, and it works great. I mean, I think another great thing about Sorcery working back and forth, like with Eric's artistic vision for the game and the great artists of the game, is all the cards really are very fitting between the card title, the actual illustration, the type
Hmm.
line text, the game mechanic, and then flavor. The flavor text is kind of a wild card sometimes, but otherwise it's very cohesive. And with this
Hmm.
being, it's got the ranged element, so you got the range aspect, the
Yeah,
air or wind aspect, like you
yeah,
were describing,
yeah.
and you capture that so well, with the blowing hair, the falling leaves,
Thanks a lot.
you could tell like the action and the bow itself or the arrow itself too is
Yeah,
what's kind of like streaking like that,
yeah,
and the brush being blown down here in the forefront, which gets covered by the text box,
yeah.
but I
Sadly.
don't know if you knew, but yeah,
Yeah,
but on the foil cards, the back
yeah.
of them are full art with no text
Oh,
box. Did
really?
Eric
Okay.
talk to you about that? Yeah,
No,
that
actually, okay. So that's cool.
yeah, so that's a
All
great
right.
like nuance to the game that really is great because this is such a significant, like it's very rare to have a big TCG that has all hand painted traditional. So I
Yeah.
think that's like a great
Honestly,
way
that's
to
super
showcase
cool.
the
Like,
art.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm very uh like happy that there are projects like this still that really focus on like real art, especially like in a time where AI art is growing and things like that. It's really nice to see, and I think
Yeah.
yeah, like I was on your Discord the other day, and it's really cool with like you're able to really build up the hype around real art, and
Hmm.
uh, and it's really cool to see how a lot of people just like playing the game, but they actually are really into the art as well. So that's
Yeah.
super cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that because I mean it is special and it is important, and like what really excites me is that I found through this game more than any other, people like tell me all the time that they were into gameplay all the time, they were
Hmm.
just gamers, and like
Yeah,
they thought the art was kind of cool, but they never
yeah,
thought to like collect like a painting or an artist proof with a
yeah,
painting on the back or an altar. But
yeah.
so many people have like converted, and I think it really enhances the play experience because if you
Hmm.
enjoy the art and if you really can appreciate like the art concept and how it synergizes with the title and how the game works in the game,
Hmm.
it
Yeah, for
just
sure.
it just makes it more exciting. So it's kind
Yeah,
of a win-win.
nice.
So yeah, so it's a beautiful piece, man. I wish there was more we could talk about with your
Yeah,
Let me go back to dual screen. Oh, I'm messing it up here. With
it's all good.
we got to have you back for sure once your other three are revealed.
Oh, for sure.
And
Cool.
then hopefully you'll be. I know like Eric's commissioning for the future sets, so we'll see what comes
Mhm.
after that. But yeah, it's great. It's a real treat to do a first reveal with you. Like I'm excited. Have you done other publications before, or is this kind of like your first breakthrough opportunity?
I've done like a few, but this is like one of the bigger ones, I would say. So I'm
Okay.
really happy to be a part of this team. And yeah, like a part of me is like, do I even like fit in this group? Because I saw some of the other artists that Eric was able to get, and it's really I'm super blessed to be part of this group. And uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's been like super great. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of artists, like I know a lot of the artists in sorcery. I've become really close with them, and so many of them say the exact same thing, just
Mhm.
like you. They're very humble, and they're like, like I don't know if I'm good enough, if I really fit in
Yeah.
with like these wild things that the other artists are doing. But
Yeah.
it's like so great because everyone has their own unique style, and that's specifically
Mhm.
why you were selected for the project. And
Yeah.
Eric, let me tell you, like Eric is extremely picky in particular with which
Mm.
artists he actually commissions because there's some tremendous talent, like really great artists that he's just like, no, it doesn't work. It's not thematically fitting. It's not the
Mhm.
style, like that 90s vibe he's going for,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely fit in. I mean,
No,
like as
cool.
soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, this is going to work great. And even your Instagram portfolio,
Mm.
if people want to find you on Instagram, is it just your full name, Sam McKinnon?
Yeah, it's my name with art at the end, so ART. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's pretty easy to find, and I'll make sure I link it when we do the full length
Oh,
video,
cool. Thanks.
and in the article too that we did. So thank you for the Q&A, the written Q&A. Those are always fun to do too, and see
Hmm.
more of your portfolio, and then sooner or later we'll see your sorcery work.
Nice.
So awesome, man. Is there anything else? Like I guess we have a big announcement that I'm going to close the reveal with about what's
Okay.
coming up here, the event. Where can fans see you at the next big event?
Oh yes. Well, I was invited to come. Oh, sorry, there might be a baby crying in the background.
No
Basically,
problem.
yeah.
I can relate. My kids are always crashing the party, and I know it's a new world for you.
Yeah. But yes, I'm coming to the big sorcery event in November. So I'm really excited to be part of the team there, and the fans can
Yeah.
come and see me and sign some cards, and yeah, it's going to be
Yep.
super cool.
Yeah, Sorcery Con Las Vegas. So it's November 1st through 3rd. And yeah, it's going to be great, especially for you too, being new to the game. Heidi will be there, so someone
Oh,
you
nice,
guys
cool.
maybe you'll be on the same plane, you know, coming from the same
Yeah.
part of the country. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be awesome to meet her, and I think we're going to have it. It's looking like we'll have at least 10 of the sorcery artists there. So you meet a lot of your colleagues, and we'll just hang
Oh,
out for a
nice.
few days and have some
Wow,
drinks.
that's
You know,
exciting.
yeah, well, good
Wow.
long days meeting the fans. I mean, the fans,
Yeah.
like, you're in for a real treat, man, a real
Yeah.
ride. Like, the fans really appreciate the artists, and
Cool.
they're just so passionate about the project on every level, gameplay, art, everything. It's really a
Wow.
big deal, you know? It's
Wow.
going to be big. You're on the ground
That
floor
sounds
pretty
great.
much, only the second set, you know? First
Wow.
expansion. So,
Very cool, very cool. Well, thanks
yeah.
again for taking the time and like having me on. And yeah, just the fact like I was so shocked when I was part of the 12 paintings that got revealed this month. So just that was just
Yeah,
huge. So it really is a dream come
absolutely.
true. So yeah, thank you, and